When bombshells catch your eye and you catch ace in a lie, Casa Amor. Huh?
Wow. When you said caught, or when you catch, rather, I thought you were going to be talking about Nick's lips again.
No. Just, I try to think of a little ditty for Casa Amor.
Oh, yeah.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined, as always, quite frequently now, Villa Goots. What's up, dude?
Twice a week, you got me here, Villagoots, ready to go. I was just going to say, I think we've officially lost the plot. I don't think that anybody knows what the hell is going on.
I think I'm okay with that because here's why. This was a wild roller coaster of 2 episodes. A lot of emotions, a lot of anger, honestly, frustration, irritation, aggravation, all the Asians, if we're really getting into it.
Aviation?
Sure.
Yeah.
There's some notebooks flying. So what they did, though, right when I was out, they pull me back in with the end of this one. And here's why I'm okay with everything that happened. I feel so out of the loop because I didn't watch last season. And that's a little frustrating. But now it feels like everyone's on the same page of what the fuck's going on. So now I feel like I'm back with the cool kids.
Yeah, you're in confusion land, if you will, where nobody really knows what's going on. I would say we're at like DEFCON 4, where we're not really sure. You know, DEFCON counts down, I believe, right? I always get that wrong. DEFCON 1 is like the closest. I always thought it did too, but then
no, you're right.
Mission
DEFCON
Impossible,
3,
and I think
2.
it goes
Well,
down.
yeah, DEFCON.
Yeah.
The amount of Mission Impossible references that you have made in the past 3 weeks is astounding.
I can't help it. It's just so good. But yeah, I think more so everybody's very confused. So you are right. Everybody's in the same boat right now. It is really, really funny to watch people on TikTok try to just explain their lives away. Like, oh, this is what's going to happen. This is what they're setting up. It's like, no, what they did was, and this was a huge mistake, they made the entire cast a bunch of micro influencers who were only really concerned about staying on the island as long as possible, playing it safe so that they can get their brand up. And when they get out, it doesn't really matter if they get a lot of hate or they read the comments and people didn't like them. People probably followed them. So that's why we're seeing friends of the people on the cast running their socials, except for one person, which I'll save for later. Everybody is using their platforms already, which is unprecedented, because they know what's going to happen. Everybody's going to flock to their pages. So they want to make sure they post things. They want to make sure they post stories. So they've lost the plot with the cast. And this is what happens. Everybody's playing it safe. So they're trying to, in real time, which I guess, kind of works for this show because you can see what the audience is doing. And in real time, the producers are trying to fix it. They're just like, what do we do? So that's why we're seeing
what I got from it. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, who's to say if it's actually going to work? I'll save my analysis of it for the end of the episode because it has everything to do with the end of the second episode. But with Casa Amor, when we start this episode, it's like, okay, we're changing the rules. We're changing everything. You're going to couple up with everybody in each house, and this is how we're going to do it. It's like, okay, this seems rash. This seems not as fun because Casa Amor used to be incredible because you had to make a decision. Am I going to come back alone? Am I going to come back with a couple? Am I going to wait at the villa alone, or am I going to wait at the villa with a couple? And then, oh, God forbid, the guy that I was dating comes in by himself. I feel like a real piece of shit. Those moments were the best. I don't know what they're going to do at the end of Casa Amor, and we'll talk about that at the end. But starting it off like that, it's like, okay, you guys are really just winging it. You're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping that something sticks, or at the very least, motivates these people to stop playing it safe because it's not making for great TV, and we're seeing through it.
Yeah, and I think that what you saw was, I'm not going to say a last-ditch effort to fix it because it's not like we're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. It's still enjoyable.
Oh, yeah.
But we were seeing some areas in which it was like, ooh, I don't love that. And then I think the cherry on top was Jeremiah going home. And producers probably like, shit, this is taking a weird turn.
Yeah.
Let's take a time out and figure out how to fix this. Now, what happens when we have moments like that? It's going to go one of 2 ways. It's either going to work or this is going to be a disaster. Yeah. So time will tell. But it was really interesting to watch this after you had explained what Casa Amor was.
Yeah, and it
And
didn't
this
matter.
is what I got. I was like, okay, well, this doesn't track at all.
At the very least, at least Ariana explained it in a way that was, we're doing this for the first time ever. So as soon as
Yeah.
you hear that, you're like, oh, well, thank God I just had Shooter
I
explain
don't
the
know
whole thing
shit
to me
about
last
shit.
week. No, that is really funny. And we'll get into all of that because I do think, I remember after watching Monday's episode, thinking to myself, well, that was a waste of an hour and a half because really nothing happens. Like, yeah, they paired off, they did this. The big thing was that they were changing the rules of Casa Amor, and you kind of have to figure out what that's going to look like. But they're not giving you all the answers right now. They're saying that everybody's going to be in the villa. Everything that I'm reading is that villa is a lot smaller than it looks on TV. How the fuck are we going to have 24 people in the villa? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
To get whacked, or you're going to combine the two houses and they're going to have separate spots where people, depending on who your couple is, maybe you're in Casa Amor, maybe you're in the villa.
I just don't know how that would work because then you are immediately eliminating the opportunity for people to mingle with others. Like, yeah, if you want to throw 24 people in one spot, they're going to go crazy. It's going to be a frenzy and people are going to be talking to all these different people and you're going to do a recoupling. I just don't understand how you're then going to start eliminating people. Are we just going to put it all back into America's hands? Because that's fine. Because the Islanders will know how to fucking vote. What do you mean?
Well, as long as America doesn't do the this would be funny vote. Do the right vote correctly.
I think, and I'm just speaking for myself and at least the people that are taking it somewhat seriously, I think that America would be able to get it right this time around because we're kind of fed up. We're kind of fed up with the whole, like, all right, we know what you're doing. It's enough. But yeah, again, we don't really have any answers when it comes to that, and we'll theorize what it means. I love that we're overanalyzing to the point of, whoa, there's an uneven amount of people in each house. That means Jeremiah and Hannah are coming back. No, we do have to give that up.
I thought that meant that somebody's going home.
Yeah, and you were right. So we do have to give that up. Enough of the Charlie's coming back.
Do you?
Jeremiah?
Do we?
Well, yes, for the people that are actually gone because they're already doing interviews. They're all on the fucking Vile files, for the love of God. So once they do that, it's like, okay, you're probably out. Now, if they want to bring somebody like Jeremiah back in a couple of weeks for, whatever, we'll talk about that towards the end too, fine. But people like Hannah, there's no reason to really bring Hannah back at this point. It happens, and I understand the thinking. When it happens, you're like, fuck. But wait, what if she came back for Pepe? It's like, well, you see how quickly these people move on. And Hannah was one of them. Charlie went home. She was a mess. And then she was spitting on her hands like a night later with Pepe. So we got to stop doing that. And I'm not just talking about us. I'm just talking about everybody. But before we even get to the Casa Amor, we do have to break down the aftermath of Jeremiah going home. Hannah's one thing, but we do have to break down the Jeremiah going home because there were some very interesting things said when it comes to both parties, when it's the reasoning behind why we're sending people home, which is the most hypocritical shit ever.
I agree. And I think that's where I got the most frustrated is listening to, even when they're not talking with Jeremiah, but talking amongst themselves, like, he's doing the same thing. He's not going to branch out. He's not going to do this. He's not going to do that. We saw this with Huda. It's like, all right, time out, guys. And we talked about this last episode. Taylor, who are you talking to? Ace, who are you talking to? Austin, who are you talking to? So they use this defense to get rid of Jeremiah, but at the same time, it's like, you guys are all doing the same shit, and you guys have all been with the same woman since the beginning, except
you're not closed off.
Correct. And Ace, you don't count because you're the biggest perpetrator of them all because you got paired with somebody else and you refused to put in effort because you had 2 conversations that didn't vibe. And then you took all your shit and went to Soul Ties. So they're all standing on this soapbox inside of a glass house, just throwing rocks everywhere. And at the end of the day, we chalked it up perfectly last episode. They're jealous of Jeremiah. And Ace is most jealous of Jeremiah. And so he took his big head and stuck it in the middle of everything and got rid of him.
Yeah. And it's really tough to not do the line of thinking of, well, maybe America really does like Jeremiah. Maybe the America vote to get him away from Huda was to save him. And now we're seeing him hit it off with somebody else. Maybe America loves Jeremiah. We need to get him out of the house so we can win. That's the
Correct.
problem. And
Yep.
when that starts happening, when we, the audience, start to think that that's happening, we lose the plot and we lose the show and we lose all interest in what's going on because we don't see it as real. We think it's fake. Everybody's doing it for their platforms, whatever you want to say.
It's
But when he's-
agendas. It's agendas, and that makes it not fun.
It's all agendas, but it's across the board, and it's worse than I thought it was because the discourse after they go home, even from the girl's side, Sierra's sitting there saying,
That
"Well,
was
you know,
crazy,
we had to
dude.
send Hannah home because you know she was kind of just coupled up with Pepe, and you know she was coupled up with Charlie." It's like, okay, she was coupled up with 2 people within a week, and she seemed happy.
Within
And I'm
2
sorry.
days.
Yeah, within 2 days. So like, what? Isn't that what the show is? I'm
Yes.
sorry. And also, Hannah has shown that if somebody interesting, somebody hot walks in, she's probably going to start talking to them. That's what she's saying in all of her confessionals. You guys aren't. You guys are boring and you're not closed off. If you're closed off, at least I'd have some respect for you. If Nick and Sierra just fully closed off, which Nick wouldn't, if they
He would
closed
never.
off after they had sex for 25 seconds the other night, respect. Go for it. You know what? Maybe you guys will win. And if that's what you want to do, go for it. That's great. Ace and Shelly, I'm surprised that Ace didn't pull the move of trying to close off with Shelly as soon as he got her, because again, that puts him in a position of power. We're the only closed off couple in the house. I'm going to tell you guys what to do, which is what he's already doing, but at least he's sort of untouchable at that point. So it's kind of tough to even like break that down. It's just annoying. And the worst part was Ace is trying to push his agenda. He's sitting there talking about the girls' vote, and he's saying, why did you not send Amaya home? I'm sorry, but you leave our Amaya Papaya alone. We love
If
Amaya.
she goes home, and she almost did, and
I'm
I
out.
was like, get the fuck out of here. You can't send Amaya home. We need Amaya on this show. We need to find somebody that loves Amaya. But until that happens, she should have immunity. But the craziest shit that Ace said was like, she doesn't vibe with my personality. So like, we need to get her out of here. It's like, you're not the king of the house.
Yeah.
She's not here because you do or do not want her to stay. That right there, that line, it was almost like a Freudian slip.
Mhm.
That tells you where he thinks this pecking order is in the house. And he thinks that he has a lot more say. And unfortunately, he kind of does than he should, because
Until
he
the
shouldn't
recoupling
say-
of the second episode.
Exactly. And that
Mhm.
was so big. And like, even without the crazy ending that we get after that, and don't worry, we won't spoil it in the recap episode. But even before that, I thought the second decision of who went home actually somewhat righted the ship as well. And we texted each other because you did the same thing I did. You texted me
Yep.
and said, oh, I think I understand the route they're going. You hadn't seen the last part yet. I texted you immediately after that one part, and I was like, oh, I
Yep.
think I get it too. And then we both
Yep.
got thrown off with the twist. But clearly they're trying to make things work and trying to move things around. But as far as this show goes, when you have Ace with this hubris, if you will, of him
Mhm.
being the one that dictates what happens in the villa, we have a problem. And hopefully what happened in episode 2 might throw that off a little bit.
Mhm.
But the comment that he made that, you know, pretty much, I don't like Amaya, so she shouldn't be here, was very problematic for me.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that he actually went that route. And for somebody who seems to know that he's on camera all the time, that did look like a slip. It looked like a slip. The fact that he even said that I don't like her, she doesn't vibe with the house, whatever he's
Yeah,
going to say,
dude, what does that mean?
is insane. Because we're looking at this from Amaya's perspective. She's the only person in the house whose friend isn't running socials. She's there to find love. She's
And
there
she's
to have
trying.
a good time.
And
She's trying
because of
so hard.
Sorry, keep going. I'm sorry. I cut
No,
you off.
no, she's trying so hard. That's all I was going to say.
Well, the thing that breaks my heart, this breaks my heart for our Amaya Papaya, because she deserves love and she deserves to be herself. But because of
Mhm.
Ace, every time she talks to any dude in the house, she has to clarify what their boundaries are. She has to clarify that she's not too much. She loves quickly and she says certain
Yep.
things. You should not have to give this preamble every time that you're talking to a new man. You should be able to go and be yourself. And if they like you for you, bang, you hit it off. If not, move on to the next bombshell. But Ace has fucked her up so bad by being so rude and ignorant early on in her early days when they got paired up, that he's broken her. And now she goes, and every time she talks to a dude, it's literally outlining the things that Ace said were a problem to make sure it's not a problem with the future guy. So she's not having that chemistry right out of the gate. I'm really hoping that what happens in episode 2 kind of gets her mojo back a little bit. She starts feeling herself, because she shouldn't feel any type of way because some big head short dude is going to tell her that he doesn't like the way she operates. Like, that's
Yeah.
horseshit. But watching how it's affected her interactions with all the other men that come in, genuinely bums me out because she doesn't deserve that.
No, she definitely doesn't deserve that. And it's tough. And she'll find somebody at some point, and hopefully she makes it long enough, that will be able to just right up front. Because as we know from Casa Amor, the way that they're talking, they watch the show, they know what's going on, and Amaya knows that they watch the show. So she's doing the same thing. So it is kind of tough to watch, and she's really going through it. She's having a really rough go, which she doesn't deserve.
Man. No.
But like back to, and then we'll kind of put a button on it for now, but back to what happens with Jeremiah, their reasoning, and even with Hannah, is that they're not challenging their relationships. They're not challenging their connections. What does that mean? Let's just walk through right now.
Okay.
Ace got a shitty or very well dealt hand with Yulissa. He ended up being single right away. No challenge there. He then had Amaya, who he cut off immediately and slept in soul ties. Not really much of a challenge there.
Not
then
really much of a
finally got
game either.
Shelly after working to get Shelly for weeks when we never believed that she was going to actually end up with Austin, and Austin was never really a threat. That's not a challenge. Now you're with Shelly and there's not a challenge. Taylor and Olandria, neither of them have had a challenge. Jalen was not a challenge. We knew from day one that that wasn't going to work. They had a little massage on the beach, so neither of them have challenged, and Olandria is the only one who's actually explaining it. Now, I love Olandria. I don't think this is the show for her. If you're going to sit there and tell me that you're a complete slow burn, you don't kiss after, it takes you a week to kiss somebody. Taylor just seems disinterested in her, and she thinks that he's enamored by her, which is crazy.
Talandria for life. Talandria for life.
Olandria for life is fine. Taylor sucks, dude. Come on. He's a loser.
Do you really think that after all this lobbying I've done for Talandria that I would jump ship now? I'm riding this train till the very end, sir.
You're going to feel bad. It's going to be a dirty ship.
No, I already have.
Disgusting,
Don't talk about my ship. Don't talk about my ship.
About it.
Don't talk about my ship. You have no idea what I have on my ship, okay? And the whole thing that I'm trying to say to you, and I have a theory about it later. You think
a lot of false hope and terrible dreams.
Do you think that I didn't think through my Talandria theory after watching these 2 episodes to make sure that I was in a good enough place where I'm like, okay, I think this is the route we're going to go? You really think
you're just going to sink with the ship?
A good captain goes down with the ship. A good captain goes down with the ship.
That's the only answer to that. But anyway, Taylor is not interested. He's never been interested, but also they've never been challenged. Nobody's walking in to challenge his connection. Jalen, we love Jalen. We're happy that he's got a great life now outside of the villa.
Yeah, I'm stoked for him.
But he wasn't a real challenge, so let's do that. Nick has a wandering eye. He'll go after anybody. But Sierra is enamored by him. There's no real challenge there. Every conversation that we've seen. So I've just walked you through the top 3 players on Ace's chart. None of them have had to challenge anything. They're not even challenging themselves by talking to other women. They're not doing anything. So why are we now saying that Jeremiah was going to be right back into another spot? They're like, he's going to love bomb her. It's not your problem. He's not going and branching out and trying to steal your girl. You would also have a problem if he came over and started hitting on Shelly. So I just,
the girl. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is she came in, Andrina came into the house.
Oh, Andrina. I thought you were talking about Huda.
You could argue Huda as well. You could.
Honestly. I think that was just a play by Ace. I still don't think. A lot of people think that he was into Huda, and then that's where it started, where he's like, fuck, I wanted Huda.
I think that's true to it. Here's what I think. I don't think so to the extent of like he wanted to couple up with her. I just think that he has a really big ego, and the fact that Huda would rather be with somebody else, period, that any girl would rather be with somebody else, I think that rubbed him the wrong way. I don't think it had so much to do with Huda. Just him being the second choice, I think, is what got him. And I think that carried over into the future, because what happened with Andrina is when she came into the house. What?
I was doing the Squidward future thing. Go on.
It's like, whoa, what? With Andrina, when she came into the house, you saw the reactions. That was a very successful bombshell drop because it shook everybody. Every dude there was like, oh my God, I want to talk to her.
Yeah.
Ace included. Ace was drooling pretty much. And who does she go for? She comes in saying, I want Jeremiah. She gets Jeremiah. Jeremiah goes from a really bad situation with Huda, rights the ship, and then gets into it with Andrina. And at the same time, when he's talking to us in the confessionals, he's like, hey, this is how I'm going to go about it. We're going to be friends, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, so you've learned from your mistakes. You're going to approach this a little bit differently. And the crazy part, and I've already done the dudes, but as far as Sierra saying that shit about Hannah, I was like, Hannah, even when she was like in love with Charlie, like when they were really, really tight, she still smooched Pepe
Yep.
Sierra, the only time you're even getting close to smooching or doing anything like that is in a challenge. So you guys aren't even on the same level. Hannah's playing the game. She played it well. She went through the ringer. She got herself up and she started hanging out with Pepe and they hit it off. She played the game. So they're using all of these defenses to rationalize those two going home. But arguably, those arguments work for everybody but Jeremiah and Hannah.
Yeah. No, it's almost as if they feel like the game is to couple up with somebody, stay with that person, and try to stay with that person till the end. And then if people start to talk to you, then that's a challenge. Instead of what it actually is, which is a bombshell walks in, whoa, he or she is hot. Let me go talk to her. Maybe I want to couple up with her. That's how the game should actually work, and that's how it really should be played. Instead, where everybody's just playing it safe, and it's like it's so fucking annoying because it's really just as long as I'm in a couple and America doesn't vote me as the least liked couple, and we're going to go home at that point, I can stay in this game for as long as I want. We know what you're doing, and
I can grow my brand. I can maybe make 100K. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I agree.
But yeah, for the Casa Amor rules, obviously, the girls, they go to Casa Amor. The boys stay in the villa with their blindfolds on. The girls come in a little underwhelmed. The guys, bit mid, I would call the guys.
A bit? The dudes, I will give them
like
this.
Chris.
I'll give them this. When they came back like for dinner and like when they were hanging out later, I was like, okay, a couple of them are some handsome dudes, and like it made more sense to me. The original reveal of the lineup of dudes in Casa Amor, I was wildly underwhelmed.
Yeah.
Wildly.
Yeah. But I will say for the dudes, they have vastly different personalities than everybody in the OG cast.
I like that.
Which is what we need because, we've watched the OG cast for a little while, so we understand their little quirks here and there. But when it comes to a personality, when it comes to holding a conversation, they all suck. They're all so bad at it. And then all of a sudden, we're watching the conversations that are happening in Casa Amor, even with the guy who I thought was a complete dud, which was JD, seems like the nicest guy in the world.
They all seem like good dudes.
He's got such a better conversation piece than everybody else. Like, he can actually hold a conversation with Huda. We've heard her say so many crazy things. It was a normal conversation with her, which I can't wait to get to because she did something funny. But just listening to them talk. Now, the girls, Coco seems great.
Coco seems awesome.
Clark, somebody called Clark Chuck on TikTok today.
Chuck.
That's like,
I like Clark. I like Clark. I like Coco. Jaden grew on me.
I think Jaden's the best of the group, to be fair.
She grew on me for sure.
Yeah.
And initially I was like, I don't know. And the more I came to enjoy her quirkiness, and the laugh I think is really funny because she just seems like, a little weird, but doesn't give a fuck. And I'm cool with that.
And then there's Amaya who, she laughs when something's funny, which I always appreciate.
Yeah, me too, which is nice. But with the dudes, back to the Casa Amor lineup. And I'm so sorry if whoever's listening is like big on this guy. Alon's not a serious person. Alon, like when he walked in, but here's the thing that blows my mind. Everybody wanted to smooch him. So maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to be seeing.
He's a plain looking, attractive white man, which is like, okay.
With a weird beard and he's like Timu Jack Harlow. Like it's wild to look at.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's like Josh from Potomac, but
you know what he is? So Josh is knockoff Jack Harlow. This guy is knockoff Josh. So he's two steps down from Jack Harlow.
Sheesh. I mean, honestly, this is the problem too with all of these people. It's so difficult to we're going to have to focus on 24 people when they all come back to the villa. That's insane. You got to get rid of these
they're going to whack a bunch. Well, but remember, there's
I don't know how they're going to be able to whack them. I know there's got to be a big thing here, and we'll try to figure that out if we can, but I don't understand how they're going to be able to just get rid of Casa Amor dudes or girls without getting rid of an OG. And that's going to be tough because the producers never want to do that. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that one out. But first impression of the dudes, even for the second episode, Elon can go. Zach with a C can go. Like Zach and Iris, they are getting zero screen time. And I like Iris. I think Iris has grown on me a little bit. She seems normal. But Zach Zach can go. He's
Is
boring.
that
as shit.
Zach? Is Iris Zach with a C or Zach with a K?
Zach with a C. Zach with a K. I can't understand what he's saying because he talks.
Zach
so
with a
fast. He's from
K.
Manchester.
Zach with a K. I'm still on the fence with. I think he can potentially be an important,
Yeah.
an important piece on this show.
He did something really cool, and he also did something that I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck are you doing?" Like,
Yeah.
So he's a little up and down for me.
But I'm okay
but
with
he's
that as far
interesting.
as a cast member goes. I'm
Correct.
okay with
He's-
up and down and wacky.
yeah.
Zach with a C. That's Iris Zach.
That's Iris Zach. Yeah.
He sucks. He
Yes.
can go. He is so blah. And
He's so blah.
I texted you this line because never in my life have I
Oh my
been more
God,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck? Fuck you. She says to him, "Oh, you've been to Australia?" And he replies, "Of course." Shut up.
Of
Who
course
are you?
he has.
Of course. No. Most people in the States have not been to Australia. So of course just makes you sound like a pretentious douchebag. I hated
Yes.
that. That drove me up a fucking wall, dude. I was
Yep.
like, this guy needs to go now. He needs to go immediately.
He's got to go immediately. There's just there's no other way around it. It's just so boring. But he does have the equal participant who is also involved with Iris on the other side of things, who is so goddamn boring in TJ. TJ's got to go. I can't with fucking. He's so goddamn boring.
I thought he was gone.
The fact that I knew he wasn't gone, but the fact that he rated all of those girls as a low number, thinking it was the OG cast plus, Amaya and Iris, who he's interested in, giving them all low grades. It's like, what do you think? You're some cool dickhead?
He's
like,
trying to nag him a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
he's a loser. And then he has no personality. And seeing after that all shakes out, and we'll kind of go through this. We're a little sporadic right now.
Let's
we'll
get
go
to the
through this.
smooches.
Let's get to this. Well, we don't even really. The smooches are fine. I was just going to say who they choose is probably more. Unless you rated all the smooches. Did you rate all the smooches?
No. I guess
That's
my comment on the smooches. No, I more meant like let's start there chronologically and then move forward. We don't have to break down each kiss. I agree with you. The TJ thing was. I think what this show does to very average mid men is give them a false sense of confidence. TJ is nothing to write home about. He's got the personality of your vape. Like that dude is not a catch by any means. And I haven't liked him really since he came on. Then I found out that he played D2 baseball at Tampa. And I was like, that's probably why I don't like him. But not because of the division. I'm not a division snob. Just the tracks. Does it not track that dude played baseball?
It absolutely does. He's from outside of New York. He's from Westchester. So he's got a rich daddy.
He played JV.
Mommy.
He played JV too, by the way.
Yeah, he played JV at D2 in Tampa, which is, and I'm sorry if anybody went to Tampa, but you remember that little program?
Let me just do this though. Tampa, I do, but Tampa baseball is actually really, really, they get a lot of draft picks every year.
I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say the little thing that we used to do in college counseling where you would like click on colleges and you would put in your information and it would give you like a full breakdown of all the colleges, and you would go like geographically. You could like pick on Florida if you really wanted to go to Florida, and it would give you all the schools that you could get into. There were two colleges that always popped up for anybody, and even the biggest dum-dums in our class. What was that?
Tampa, and Elon.
No, Elon's in North Carolina.
It's a Florida school. Wait. It's a Florida school? Oh, Rollins.
No, Barry.
Okay, Rollins is a good school, but
Rollins is a pretty good school, but that's all rich kids too. But yeah, so it checked out as soon as he said he went to Tampa and he's from Westchester. I'm like, yeah, rich kid, go to Tampa. Not that smart, no personality. Gonna go try to play baseball, play JV the whole time. Like there's a guy on TikTok who breaks down anytime somebody plays a sport. Which
I saw that he broke down.
Chris is actually a good basketball player. I need to see him versus Pepe, even though they play different positions. But you got to get a hoop in the villa. I need a hoop in the villa. And I want to see these two hoop. That's what I want.
Love that.
But,
I would love that.
I won't hold my breath for that one. But yeah, dude, TJ's fucking lame as hell.
TJ has the personality of Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
Bland and a little sour.
He's not going to kill you, but it's not the healthiest, but it's okay.
It's healthier. I don't know. Fuck. I meant he's bland with a little sour aftertaste. That's TJ. But anyway.
It's a substitute for what you really want, and that's sour cream.
There you go. That's it. Boom.
Yeah.
You nailed it. Way to put the cherry on top. Thanks,
Thank
pal.
you.
But yeah, let's get to the choices. that we make because, and the rules are just to get everybody up to speed since it's a new Casa Amor setup. So we're all on the same page here. The rules are there's 6 dudes, 5 girls, and then vice versa in the other house. Whoever's
7 girls,
left,
6 guys
thank you.
in the other one.
Whoever's left standing solo of the OGs is vulnerable and can be sent home after this whole thing. So they have 24 hours to find a connection or else they're gone from the house, which I also didn't love this either because it sets up that this solo person, everyone else is going to know like you're just vying to stay in the house at this point.
Yep.
This was,
Well, these
and I
people
think-
aren't the smartest.
That's
So I will say in Casa Amor, that one made a lot more sense for when we get to that. That made a lot more sense to me. But TJ being the lone dude in the villa, he was going to be fine. Like he picked Vanna, and like I don't think that there was a thought from Vanna that he was going to do something weird or nefarious. Like she just thought he was into her. I'm like, oh, sweetie, come on. He's just trying to stay in the game.
It took 2 seconds and she was like, oh, I wish I was sleeping in your bed. I was like, wow, that was easy.
Yeah.
You didn't even try. And like, I get it.
Then he was still
like,
worried
Ace,
that something was going to happen. Like, okay.
But like Ace wasn't trying. Like I get that part. And here's the other thing too. And it's just because Vanna's not his type. Once again, we're there. Ace goes into a confessional when everybody walks in and he's like, oh boy, like here we go. Like rubbing his hands together, all excited. Vanna picks him. Then he goes to type shit. And Vanna picks him and he goes to confession. He goes, give me back my Shelly. Where's my Shelly at? I'm like, okay, so you didn't get the girl that you wanted. So now you're sitting here going, give me back my Shelly. And then fast forward. And I think that this might turn into a thing, by the way. I think this, and I think also on the flip side, Coco or Shelly, I think she might leave him. And I hope she does.
I hope so.
Because look,
that's exactly what we need. We need
and
them to be vulnerable.
I would love that. And like, here's the other thing. And this is what made a lot more sense to me. And it is important to note because when the dudes walked in again, I was wildly underwhelmed. When you find out like the average height is 6'4", I'm like, there you go. Like, there you go. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. That's how
we fixed this. Well, we filtered in the height. But yeah, so TJ's left standing alone. Nick was the other one that was a little bit late because Taylor somehow fucking got 2 people. No idea how the hell Taylor got 2 people. That's baffling. Just completely baffling. He's boring. But yeah, Nick ends up standing alone for a bit until Clark pops over to him. And then everybody is pretty much coupled off except for TJ, who is vulnerable. So as we said before, he's going to spend the next 24 hours just desperately trying to make a connection, which only took him about 35 minutes. So he's pretty much going to be safe at this point. But we do find out, well, we won't find out about the recoupling until the next day, but we'll go through the girls because the girls is a little bit more interesting.
I agree.
At least from the couple.
And we spent way too much time with the dudes, by the way. I wanted to see what was going on in Casa more.
I didn't care what was going on with the dudes at all.
Me neither. Like, I had no interest.
It was like 35 minutes in the villa with the dudes. I'm like, how long is this episode? Oh, shit. It's an hour and a half long. Like, did we really need all of this? I know that we want to see like all the kisses because that's what Love Island's all about. But like, Jesus, just like speed it up. Like, just speed it up just 50%. That's all I ask.
I agree. I don't know why it took that long. And back to one more time, and then we'll move on. The TJ thing was crazy. 6, 5, 5, 6. Who the fuck are you, dude? Even if you thought it was the OGs, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Again,
not to mention you're just hurting your chances of getting a better kiss because they started skipping you. Like,
and then he's like, well, I didn't even get a kiss, so like a 2, I got a peck. Yeah. It's like, why do you think, TJ? Who would want to kiss you? You loser.
Yeah.
He needed to go, bro. He needed to go, and I'm bummed that he didn't. But
he's got to go expeditiously.
Let's stay on track. Let's stay on track. Get back to the ladies and their choices. You.
Oh, me. Oh, yeah. How about that? So we'll get back to the ladies and their choices. Left standing alone, weirdly, was Olandria.
Oh, you mean after the whole?
Oh, I just meant like because I don't remember exactly who got 2 to stand with her. I think it was Sierra. I'm not positive. It was Elon and Zach maybe that stood with her.
I think so, yeah. And then she went with Elon.
And then she ended up going with Elon. And then poor Amaya Papaya standing there alone. Olandria standing there alone was interesting.
I was heartbroken when Amaya was the last one standing. I texted you. I was like, dude, this can't happen.
No, yeah, and I think I had already texted you and just said, well, I don't know exactly. I tried not to spoil it, so it didn't really
I
matter.
appreciate it.
But Olandria sitting alone at first looked weird, but then when you realize the conversations that she was having, she was talking to them all about Taylor. She was going to her confessional talking about Taylor, and that's also tough to hear because we know Taylor doesn't really give a shit. And now
that's not true. Don't say we. Do not say we.
We as a whole, not you. And we know further in the next episode that he's not even thinking about her. So whatever. But when it comes down to this, Zach with a K doesn't get chosen. So he then pops over to Olandria, which never really had any chemistry to begin with. Poor Amaya has to stand there alone. She's in the
by
same
the way,
boat
they're
as
not
TJ.
even playing the same sport. It's not like Olandria's out of his
Yeah.
league. They're playing
No.
different sports.
Yeah, that was never going to happen. And he knew it was never going to happen. But
yeah,
he
she is
still tried.
way too good for him.
Yeah. So Amaya has to stand alone. And it's like, okay, here we go again.
No.
Here we go again. We got to deal with this. I don't want to deal with it. She was handling it okay, but like
I thought
that's
she
it's
did
stressful.
good. Well,
It's
stressful. The other part is like at this juncture, her ego and like confidence level has to be at an all-time low. And like
Yeah.
that's what really bummed me out for it because she says, you know, I know my worth, I know this, I know that. And I was like, you need to. Like I wanted to like, grab her and be like, hold on to that because you are something and you are worth it. Don't let these fucking B squad rejects make you feel sad about yourself because you're better than that. Amaya. Stay strong.
She truly is. She is so much better than that. The other little piece of this whole group up on the Casa Amor side is Huda. She's worried that she's lost it. It's been so long since she's been back in the game.
Oh, she
what
got it
are we
back.
talking about? She definitely got back. And she ends up with JD, who I guess it kind of grew on her because at first it didn't look like she was interested at all, but she was just happy to be standing there with somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And a little bit later when they're in a conversation, it seems like she's like, whoa, maybe this is the guy for me. There's your proof during that conversation that it really wasn't Jeremiah, it's Huda that was doing all of these
100%. The shit that she says was like it painted the picture of exactly what happened with Jeremiah.
Yep.
She's like, he has everything that I look for, and I have everything that he looks for. I was like, based on what? That conversation that you guys had, where he pretty much was just trying to say to you, like, yeah, I know you're nuts, but like it's cool. Like that's
she pointed it out, which this was insane. She pointed it out. I assume that you already know that I have a daughter. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. She's like, have you ever dated somebody with kids? He's like, yeah, I've dated somebody with kids before. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
I didn't like that answer, actually.
I didn't like the answer necessarily either. I felt like it was a little dismissive, but she loved that answer. And she immediately had that look in her eyes that we haven't seen since Jeremiah. And it's like, oh boy, please.
Here we go.
JD seems, I don't want him to be victim number 2 here. But
that's
her
what
response
JD stands for is Jeremiah. He's
French. But she goes another step when he obviously just returns fire. Have you dated guys? Like, what do they think about when you have a kid? Oh, it doesn't really matter to them.
They never care. Then why do you hold it so close to the chest?
It's your whole thing. That is your whole fucking thing. You held on to it for so long, finally told Jeremiah, then freaked out when he cared. Maybe that actually explains things. And then every single person that tried to give you shit, you then turned on them and said, look, I'm a mom. This is what I do. Stop holding it accountable. Stop holding yourself accountable for this and talking about how you have a kid back home. If you say the guys that you date don't really give a shit, like you seem to not care. It just doesn't make any sense. It was so rattling. I just didn't understand it. But I think the guy I like the most is probably Chris. 6'8", just good looking dude. He's with Shelly. Kind of took Shelly by surprise. Seems very mellow. Good personality. Can hold a conversation. Actually played good basketball. He went to Fresno State. I don't know if you saw that one, but he played at Fresno State for a couple of years and he was pretty good. And then he went over and I don't know if he's still playing.
Nobody really figured that out. He didn't say retired. He said that he's playing. I am a professional basketball player.
Yeah, which if you ask me today versus last week, I actually think that Pepe is the number 1 guy in the group right now. So
I love Pepe.
it's a big change for me after this last week because I was giving up shit for his retirement from basketball after not having many stats. I feel bad now, but Chris, I really did like, and I do hope I hold the same sentiment that you do. I hope that Shelly likes him back and it becomes a whole thing because A 6'8" man walking back into the villa with Shelly. 6'8"
What
basketball
nightmare.
player, a fucking athlete, walks in and sees Ace just looking down like, wait, where'd he go?
Yeah.
That's gonna
Oh,
be
did I
fucking great.
step on him? Oops.
Which one's Ace? I see Austin. I see Pepe. I think I've played him before. Oh
Yeah.
wait, I skipped over somebody. I gotta get down on my knees. To
What's
see
your
this
name,
guy.
little
That's
guy?
gonna be great. Yeah, rub him on the head. Like give him a little pat on the head. Like hey
Little,
buddy,
a little
how we
scratch
doing?
on the noggin. Hey,
God, it would
sweet.
drive him
Hey,
insane.
sweet guy. Hey, little tyke.
Yeah, that's where we are. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the conversations after that in this episode, at least, and we're going to pretty much for the next episode, it's really just like all the shit that breaks down and sort of the strategies that play out. But real quick, while we're in between the episodes, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Prolon. And you have heard Steele and I talk about Prolon a bunch of different times on our program. They're very good friends of ours. And anytime that we feel like we need a reset, maybe I was down in Tennessee this last weekend visiting a good friend, had a little too much fun, came back, not really sure what to do. I know Prolon's got my back because their 5-day fasting mimicking diet works at a cellular level to rejuvenate you from the inside out, providing real results. And now they're upping their game with the new Next Gen 5-day program, delivering the same science-backed benefits in a cleaner, more convenient, and more flavorful format. It is not a typical water fast. I don't have to feel like I'm starving myself. I know Prolon's got my back because their 5-day fasting mimicking program delivers those real results that I want, and it gives me the full reset that I need to make sure that I'm ready for the summer because it's beach season, baby. And for a limited time, you can be first in line to experience the new Next Gen program with special savings. Prolon is offering Bros and Shows listeners 15% off site-wide plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day program. Just visit prolonlife.com/bros. That's PROLONLIFE.com/bros to claim your 15% discount and your bonus gift. prolonlife.com/bros. Now let's get back into the strategy of the next episode.
And, like, the other thing I didn't love about this setup is the scramble that we see after the fact, because we have 24 hours, which is not actually 24 hours. It's probably more like 12 of actual awake time where you're mingling.
Good breakdown.
And it's not good enough to really, if we want to harbor connections, and not for the sake of falling in love, but for the sake of chemistry on the show, I need to see more time with this. And that, to me, points to your theory of the producers hit a no shit moment.
Yeah.
And they were trying to scramble to make something work. How are we going to shake things up? They're too close. They're closing off too early. What do? We throw a wrench into it like this. And I think the biggest evidence of that is how this episode actually ends, because they're like, okay, now we scrambled too much. We got to reel it in a little bit. I think that's what happened there.
But
there's
for me, it just wasn't enough time. There's no way that the episode ends that way if it's not pre-planned with those two people. Because if it were, instead of the one person, it's the other person who was up for it, or vice versa. Like, there are two very, and I love Amaya Papaya, but if she ended up staying single the whole time and did what happened, and it was TJ on the other side, they're not doing what they did at the end of this episode. There's no way.
There's no way it hits nearly as hard.
Then I have to start to wonder, how much are the producers actually impacting everything? Did they wait to see how it shook out during the day and then said, okay, now's the time to implement planned fucking pull up in a fucking Mercedes and pick them up? Like, is that what they did?
Operation G-Wagon?
Operation G-Wagon. It was on the tip of my tongue. I forgot about it. I didn't read the debrief, but there's just no way that if it shook out the way, if everybody stayed the same in their couples, maybe swapped a little bit here and there, but the same two lonely people were lonely at the end, no chance that they do the same thing.
Because even if it happens, they do the same thing, we're going to watch it home and go, all right. Like, yeah. Okay.
No, we would be furious on the one end.
On the one hand, I'd be lit. We already said TJ's going home, so we would have been like, "Oh my god, this is miserable. Why the fuck is he getting saved right now?"
I would send him an Uber to the airport to make sure he got home faster.
Yeah, and like what is it? What's the basic Uber?
Uber X.
Yeah. We're sending him an Uber X shared ride, even.
Yeah. A wait and save. Actually, no. I have to do it.
We're going to wait and save carpool for you.
I'll schedule him 3 different Ubers depending on how much turbulence happens on the ride home.
No, we'll hire him a bike taxi. We'll
There we
get
go.
what's his nuts
Yeah.
from Southern Hospitality to bike
Yeah, there we
taxi
go.
his ass over there.
That's a good call. But yeah, you can see the strategies just kind of breaking out because obviously the couple up was weird. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
The bombshells, the Casa people, whatever you want to call them, they get to choose who they want. That's not going to last. So
Mm-mm.
obviously we're going to have to figure all of this out. And as people are just trying to get to know each other, we find out there's going to be a recoupling tonight. Hey guys, guess what?
Even
just
I was like,
recoupled.
what?
Let's do it again. Like, what are we doing?
I would
Why
argue
is this happening?
I'm a rookie. I would argue there's already been too many recouplings this season. Am I wrong?
I think no, you're not wrong. And the way that they're doing it without it's really just like the Islanders voting to have people home. Like everything just feels off, and it feels like they're scrambling a little bit. I think they tried to do a couple of new things in the beginning, and it backfired on them. And now they're like,
trying to
shit.
correct course.
Yeah, we got to fix something here. So I don't. God only knows what the hell they were doing down there, but. Yeah, they did have to figure something out. Oh, that was the thing I wanted to point out. Ariana is still very active on Instagram, as we know, and on TikTok. So she sometimes just likes comments that indicate where we're going with this. And somebody had commented that because everybody's playing it safe, they had to do Casa Amor a little bit differently so that they could shake things up. And she liked that comment on a random
There you
TikTok,
go.
which is like, okay, cool. All right, now we know. So that is confirmed.
Our TikToks one time, no big deal.
Pretty
Not a
sweet.
big deal.
Pretty
Not a big
sweet.
Everyone
But yeah,
relax.
you can see the strategies just kind of trying to break out. I guess we'll start on the boys' side because that one's a little easier to follow. Because actually, no, there's more moving pieces on the boys' side. So let's just get it out of the way. Everybody is pretty unhappy. Ace hasn't even talked to Vanna. He hasn't even said a word to her, really.
And again, furthering that he's not playing the game.
He's got his sights set on Coco. And it looks like Taylor's got his eyes set on Clark, who is currently with Nick. Not that really matters. And they all just start going to town. They're all just trying to figure out their own recoupling situation. Who am I going to vibe with? Who am I not? TJ is still frantically running around, even though he already had a conversation with Vanna where she said, I want to sleep with you tonight. So
he's still panicking.
He's still, I wonder if it kind of set in a little bit where he's like, maybe I can do better. He's the type of guy that you're safe. You are fine. Just lean into that. And if what you're doing is just biding your time until Iris comes back because you feel like you have a connection there, then fine. Just stay with Vanna. This is a layup. This is easy. She's showing so much interest. And instead he's like, shit, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm really nervous. And he starts talking to other people. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
You're going to fuck it up because she's going to see you and go, oh, maybe I'm not in on that guy.
Yeah. And then she's going to start talking to somebody else. So yeah, you can see that. And really what it's coming down to, because everything starts to play out how you would imagine it would. It comes down to Jaden, who again, this is another conversation that we have had before. She's really into Austin because their conversations are incredibly deep and it just seems like a really good fit.
No, they're
when
not
we
deep.
watch those conversations, it's like,
what are they? He's talking. What did he talk about? Like fucking lizards or some shit?
He caught a lizard and showed her. I guess they could take pictures with their phone, which we've seen some selfies before.
I need to see those photos.
I don't know if I want to see Austin's photos.
Not all
based
of
on that the dick pic challenge.
That's probably 99 dick pics and 6 lizard pics. Yeah. And 1 pic of a lizard on his dick.
I think they can text each other, which is also that shouldn't happen. But yeah, the conversations that him and Jaden are having don't make any sense. And you can tell Nick kind of has an idea in his head of, well, Clark and I aren't really that interested in each other. She's hitting it off with Taylor. I better go over. I really like Jaden when she walked in. So his conversations seem a little bit better, but even then they reek of desperation.
That's why I didn't like the 24-hour thing. I was like, it's not 48 hours would have completely changed this whole thing.
Yeah.
Would have made it so much different. But I will say back to I can't brush past it without addressing it more about the Austin and Jaden conversation.
Yeah.
And it being so deep in this connection.
Yeah.
It's literally, what superpower would you have? Oh, teleportation. I think it'd be so cool to look at something and be like, bam, you're there. It's so sick, bro.
But that's why I don't really understand that. He didn't like Amaya. Amaya was so hyped for those conversations. And he was like, it's just a little too much.
Ace probably got in his ear. honestly.
I don't know. Austin.
Oh no, he's actually
seemingly-
not. He's not Team Ace. I
He's
take that back.
anti-Ace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
he's
take that
definitely
back.
anti-Ace. I know
I just
Viola
seemed-
asked Jeremiah about a clip that showed that, and he was like, "Yeah, like Austin kind of understands what's going on." So maybe Austin's playing super dumb, but he is also dumb.
No, he is just dumb.
Yeah, he is just dumb. Pepe, I
playing
don't think
dumb.
wants any part of any of the strategies. I think he's truly just
Pepe's
there to
just-
like find somebody. and
What a
have
gentleman.
a good time. He
By
just
the
seems
way.
like a good dude.
During the
He's still
smooching,
missing Anna.
I know. He's just a lovely man. He's like, during the smooches, he did what you should have done. 10, 10, 10. One
Great
girl
dude.
got a 9. Everything else was 10. He's being respectful. He is the number one guy in the group as of right now.
Yeah, by far, he's the number one guy in the group. But while all of this is kind of shaking out, and even though we kind of know where things are going to fall when it comes to Coco and Ace and Clark and Taylor, Taylor and Clark are having a conversation.
Mhm.
And this goes side by side with what's going on at Casa Amor when Olandria is talking about him. Olandria misses him. She misses her boo. She misses
says it a few
her. She
times,
misses
yeah.
her cowboy. She says it a bunch. She says it to anybody that's going to listen to her. And we go over to Taylor, who's just missing his horses and missing his family. That's all. He's missing.
that part I wasn't.
Mhm.
I'm gonna nitpick a little bit. That part I wasn't as like, dude, what the fuck? When he rationalizes later was it with Coco or was it with Clark? I don't know. He was talking to
I'm not sure.
somebody, and he goes, I think it would be doing you ladies a disservice if I was still thinking about her because I'm supposed to be all in on this whole experience. That's when I was
That's what
irritated.
Daddy Ace told me.
That's when I was a little irritated with him. I wasn't actually when he said I miss like this, like my horse and whatever, because I didn't expect him to say Olandria there. But when,
Mm.
yeah, it was Coco. When she brings it to his attention and says, well, you have a connection there, don't you? And then he kind of brushes it off. That's when I wasn't thrilled. But don't worry, I have spun it in my head to be okay with this whole thing. I'll explain it in a minute. Don't worry.
Sure.
Taylandria lives, guys.
Whatever.
Taylandria lives.
But yeah, that's pretty much where everybody is situated in the boys' villa at the
Mhm.
moment. It seems like everything's going to play out, and it's really just going to come down to who does Jaden pick? Is Austin
Yeah.
going to go home, or is Nick going to go home?
But that I didn't
Find out
even
soon.
register. I didn't register.
Oh,
that
I knew-
Nick
I
might be
could
on
see
the
it right
chopping
away.
block. I
Yeah.
should have, right?
Yeah.
Like I should have put, but I didn't because I was so focused on other things.
You're focused on Taylor. You got to look at the whole. You can't just look at Taylor and oh
I'm
yeah,
not
I
gonna
didn't
look
like
at your hole. Fuck you. That's gross.
didn't say my hole specifically.
A hole.
Yeah,
Ugh.
exactly. Yes. But yeah, so let's bounce back over to the girls because this one's a little bit more cut and dry.
Mhm.
Everybody seems happy-ish. Sierra's crying because she misses Nick, which, whatever.
But
Nick's
Hannah's too far in.
scrambling.
Hannah's too far in. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
they're just all hypocritical. It's just driving me insane. And look, again, I'm okay if you guys are like, hey, we're pretty much closed off and this is a test. And you know what? I don't want the test. I want Nick. And if Nick's doing the same thing on the other side, that's sweet. That's nice. Or if
Nick's
he's
just
not,
trying.
and she comes home alone and Nick is coupled up, that would be awesome. But we're doing Casa Amor so much differently this year. So she is with Alon, and again, we've talked about him. He's pretty fucking boring. He kind of looks like Nick. She even says that, like, I guess I do have a type, but she still misses Nick. So there's
They have
nothing there.
similar hair, I suppose, but they
Yeah.
don't really look like that guy. Seemed like
She
a
said that,
caricature.
yeah.
Honestly, when he walked in, I was like, he looked like a caricature you'd get on the boardwalk at the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. But there's not a lot of mixing up going on. It seems like everybody's happy to be where they are. That's where we get the Huda and JD conversation. Amaya is running around frantically. She was talking to JD, who again seems like an incredibly nice guy. Huda was probably staring daggers at her the whole time, like, "Don't you do this
without
to
a
me?
doubt.
Don't you do this to me?" But he seems like such a nice guy, and that's when we get the conversation of, well, can I ask you what your boundaries are? Am I allowed to call you babe? And am I allowed to touch you?
Oh
It's
man.
like, oh, that's so
And
sad.
then she starts crying, and he handled it well. He's like, "Let it out."
He
It's not
did.
a
He
big
seems like
deal.
such
he
a nice
handled it
guy.
great. So I
Yeah.
don't have any issues there. My issues with Ace. It's like, Ace, look
Yep.
what you've done to this girl because you're a
Mhm.
dick. Like now
Yep.
she's explaining this shit away, and then she's in tears. Like that genuinely makes me mad. That some short, big-headed douchebag is making her defend who she is to a stranger. That's crazy
Yeah.
talk. But
Yeah,
whatever.
it's tough to watch. And the other promising upstart would have been Zach with a K. And that's what Amaya's next target is, because she needs somebody to stay in the villa. And she goes to Zach with a K, who's coupled up with Olandria, but there's not a lot of chemistry there, as we've seen, and we see even more of that in a little bit. They share a nice kiss, and
You know what I mean?
seems he's yeah, dude. I have no idea what he said.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
And
know
look,
what I mean.
they Peacock needs to fucking figure out the subtitles, because
Mhm.
Jesus Christ, what are we doing? They're like either 2 scenes behind, or they spoil it.
Oh, they're
like,
crazy. I had to
did we
turn
get
them off.
I turn them off every time. It's just annoying me at this point. I can't get a read on Zach. I think what he sees is an opportunity, maybe.
That's
and
all it is. That's all it is.
maybe it'll move forward somewhere. Maybe he'll like her. I don't know. He's not really sure.
That's not it at all. That's
I
not
know.
it at all.
It's an opportunity to stay in the villa. If you're
It's an
going to couple up
opportunity to
with
stay in
somebody, it's going to be her, and that's huge for later when we do the recoupling. But
It
they
really just
share a
came
nice
down to
little
that. She
kiss.
kissed him. She kissed him. Olandria didn't, and that was the deciding factor.
Yeah, because Olandria in that conversation with Zach with a K, when he weirdly asks, "Do you mind? Like, do you want to kiss outside of a challenge?" Which I thought was bizarre.
That's not even how the way he said it was even worse. Like, I was ashamed I would get to kiss you in the challenge, which a lot of people say because it's a setup for let's do it now.
Mm-hmm.
She clearly picked up what you were putting down and wanted no part of it. And he doubles down and goes, "You want to? No, thanks.
No,
Tight. No, thanks,
it's
champ."
Just bizarre. But she did say, I'm a bit of a slow burn. And she even spoke about Taylor here. We've got a really good thing in the villa, and it took us a little while, and it took us, over a week to get our first kiss, which, at the time we thought you guys aren't into each other, but now it looks like this is who Olandria is.
And that's why Taylandria will live on. You guys are all going to see it. I'll save that for the end. I'll save the Taylandria defense at the end. Spare these nuts, pal. You're going to hear it. You're going to sit there. You're going to fucking listen to me. But not yet. I'm going to save it. I'm going to go back to Zach with a K, because I don't trust this man. I don't like him. He's a fuckboy, and he's playing this game for the wrong reasons. I don't care for it, because when he smooches Amaya, right? And you know what Amaya is doing. She's trying to stay in the villa. I respect it. Respect the game. You do what you got to do to live another day. So she goes in there. They're having a conversation. She smooches them. When they're leaving that room, let's keep the kiss to ourselves. Yeah. Why, Zach? It's hard to be a fuckboy on Love Island because you're surrounded by fuckboys. I didn't.
It doesn't make any sense either, because it's your choice. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, which is again bizarre, and it doesn't make any sense. So they must have had this in the works from the beginning, because you're going to give these bombshells in Casa Amor the choice of who they want, and they're going to get the power of who goes home. Not us, not the original cast, no one else, just them. Ooh. That doesn't make any sense. So I don't really get that. I don't really think he understands how it worked. You didn't really need to do that, because if you walk out and Amaya is saying, "Oh yeah, we kissed," which she did, by the way, which is great, then all of a sudden it's like, whoa. Like, is Olandria on the chopping block? Like, what's going on here? Thankfully, Amaya just sat down with Olandria and said, "Look, this is what happened." And Olandria doesn't care. She brushes it off. "Look, I appreciate you coming to me like a woman," which is huge, but you didn't really need to tell me, and it's okay. It's not a big deal.
But she also says, I would have said the same thing to you. I would have told you. So, like, and again, Amaya shows her true colors in a very good way. This is the second time we've seen her stand on business with her friends.
Yeah, she's in a bad position.
I'd love to see that, though. That's like a good moment where she sits her down and they're talking, because you can really tell, outsider's perspective as we're watching, Amaya's a good person. This is the second time she's done something admirable. So the fact that she's even on the chopping block is horseshit, but that's, we've said that enough this episode. But yeah, dude, like, watching Zach move, watching him work his way through this whole situation. I don't like him. I don't trust him. Like I said, I definitely don't trust them. Where credit's due always, right? We always try to be that way. I do think he's a good bombshell for the house, just for the sole purpose that he will get messy. Maybe unintentionally so, but I think he will. And I think that's what we're missing right now, is that factor of, because the OGs are all wildly respectful of each other's connections. They're really not going to step on toes. And that's a problem, apparently, because we're getting a stagnant villa. So I think when you sum it all up, and then we'll get to like the big reveal and everything, but when you sum it all up, I do think production saw a problem and they went and did the best they could to fix it. I don't have a problem with that. I think the execution was poor. I'm not mad at like, hey, let's shake this up, let's pull an audible. They should have thought it out a little bit longer, and I think it would have been more fluid, because what we got was choppy.
It was frantic. It was odd. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense. And the entire episode, we just found ourselves questioning who's going to be on the chopping block. Are they actually going to go home? Which, you know, we do with everybody that actually goes home. And then once it comes down to it, it's like, okay, shit. All right, cool. So we'll just move right into the girls because they're so easy to figure out. Nobody really wants to recouple. Nobody really wants to change. The question is, if you have a stronger connection with Amaya than you do with your current couple, stand up. Zach stood up almost, you know, right away at this point. Obviously, the dramatic pause. He stands up, leaves Olandria out to dry. And once Amaya realized what was going to happen, she broke down again, which she does almost every episode at this point.
She broke down in moments that it's not even that sad. She's just an emotional person.
She's just a very emotional person. But you could see on everybody's face, much like on the boys' side, once they realize, oh shit, nobody's going to stand up for Olandria. And if they do, then one of us is going, no matter what, one of us is going home, which was always the point. It's funny when they realize what's going on, the tears aren't really flowing when Amaya is standing up there, but Olandria goes up there. Everybody's freaking out.
Sobbed.
Everyone's sobbing.
I was so fucking mad at home, and I was glad that Amaya didn't get whacked, but I was like, dude, no, not Olandria.
And we talked about it for Zach. If he wants to stay for, you know, a little bit of time, maybe buy himself a little bit more time, maybe find another connection, you can't stay with Olandria, because once you go back to the villa based on how much she's been talking about Taylor, you stand no chance. She's going to immediately recouple up with Taylor, and then you're screwed. So for Zach, yeah, okay, I'll stand up. I've got a better chance here. Olandria handled it like a champ. Everybody's sobbing. Nobody, or everybody's sobbing. She didn't cry.
Strong as hell.
Yeah, it's strong as hell. And she did say, you know, oldest daughter of a single mother, had to take some things on myself. It showed in this moment. This is where Zach kind of won me over a little bit, because he did notice and say, like, look, I'm sorry. I did what I thought was best for me. I hope you guys don't think that, like, I'm a villain. Like, he felt bad because everybody's just
so differently.
sobbing. Oh, no, I think he really felt bad. I think he was like,
I do too.
Like, and how can you not in that moment?
I don't think that he didn't feel bad.
Yeah.
But to me, he then made the moment about himself. And I was like, I don't like that.
Oh, I didn't think that at all. I think that he just, like, didn't know what to do. He was like, what the fuck? It was almost like how bad Pepe felt after America voted for him and Hannah to be together and Charlie to go home.
That was tough.
He was like, fuck me, dude.
But he didn't make it about himself.
Yeah, but this one was different because he actually made the choice to stand up versus
you know what I mean?
Pepe, America made the choice. So it's like, fuck, why'd you put me in this position? Now I look like the bad guy. Zach was the one who stood up. So he's like, fuck, did I make myself the bad guy? And then he's just sitting there like panicking, like, oh God, is everybody going to hate me because I did this? But in the end, it makes sense. Like, it was the choice that he had to make. And Olandria was going home. Pack your bags.
It was heartbroken. I was heartbroken.
I talked to myself for Olandria because she's been my number one for so long, because I just enjoy her. Not her couple, but I enjoy her. I was talking myself into maybe this is the shot in the arm that everybody needed. Like, shit, you guys are too safe. You guys aren't doing anything. If we're going to send somebody home that America loves in the middle of all of this, you got to get your shit together. You got to make some entertaining TV. This is what's at stake. She's going to go home now because you guys are boring. I was hoping that was the move. And then we move over to the boys' side.
That was the shot in the arm for me. For Olandria, wasn't. This was for me. I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, and this is where I texted you, and I was like, I see the vision. I kind of get it. Because obviously we have the swap, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Taylor's now with Clark. Ace is now with Coco. We're all playing musical chairs. Nick's standing up there. It comes down to Jaden. Jaden, you going to stand up? Everyone's looking at her. Ace was staring at her. Like, you're going to stand up, right?
Jaw agape.
I have a theory. I think that Ace and or Taylor pulled Jaden aside and talked to her about it and said, are you going to stand up for Nick? And she probably said, yeah, I'm thinking about it. Or yes, I'm going to. Because when she didn't stand up, he was completely confused. And I think that she may have said that she was going to stand up, but she didn't. She stays with Austin. Nick is now out. Everyone's freaking out. Nobody knows what the hell to do. That's when I sat at home and I'm like, this is what we needed. We needed
That-
a
the Nick-
shakeup like
yeah.
this. Nick goes home. Olandria goes home. Word spreads throughout both houses. What the fuck's going on? Everybody's panicking. Why would they do this? Who did this? Is this what we're doing? And then all of a sudden, we might get a good show. It's like, okay, fuck around, find out. That's how I felt like it was going to be. But it's not, because Nick walks out of the villa. Here comes the G-Wagon, Operation G-Wagon, and Olandria is calling him in. We don't know
I
what
was
that
stoked.
means. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. But I hope and pray that they keep them isolated for at least a few episodes here.
Like,
And I don't know
3
what that's
episodes would
going to
be
look like.
sick.
And don't tell them, because I want them to realize, like, fuck, are we playing this too safe? Is this getting to the point where we're going to go home tomorrow because we don't have our shit together? Like, that's probably what the producers want, and that's what we want at home, of course. We can get into some theories unless you want to do your Talandria spiel.
I will in a sec. I just want to comment on this like ending part, because I agree that, and you can tell by everybody's reaction on both sides. They're like, it kind of was that moment you needed where they all say at one point or another, in one way or another, like, wow, this could be over tomorrow. I think that's what sending those two home did for the OGs. They're like, whoa, we've all been assuming like we're that's why Ace was so stunned at the vote, because he was like, well, Nick can't go home. Like, that can't happen. And it did happen, kind of. But it was definitely the shakeup that they needed to be like, all right, we need to approach this thing differently. Now,
a lot of people just didn't watch that. Like, there were a lot of people that were like, I can't believe that they went home. Yeah.
That's so funny.
They thought it was over. So they just turned it off after Nick got out. Yeah. So a lot of people didn't know that. And there were so many comments on various social medias talking about it. And then the comment underneath was like, did you not watch the whole episode?
Yeah. Did you see the end of it?
And again, like, we don't really know what it is. I've got 2 theories, and they're the most likely theories. But again, if you want to do a little Talandria,
I'm not there yet. I'm still talking about the end.
Oh, okay.
Give me a sec. Just give me a sec.
All right. What do you want to say about the end?
I'm working on it.
Is Jeremiah driving the car?
Oh, hey now.
That would be great.
I'm on board for that. No, that's a theory again. Hold on to the theories.
Right.
No, I just want to say one thing, because when Nick goes home, and if we get any questions, of people bashing this, I'm gonna be livid, because I love when you see the dudes get emotional. I loved the hugs, the tears. I loved all of that shit, how close they all were. I thought it was a very nice, touching scene. And that's all I wanted to say on that. Now let's get to Talandria.
Well, I kind of hope that they tell both villas who went home.
I do too.
Hope that the girls find out that Nick went home, because you want to see how Sierra moves.
Oh, that's going to be
what happens. And then when the boys find out that Olandria went home, you're going to see how little Taylor cares about Olandria.
I disagree. And I think this goes to my theory. All right. So here's what's going to happen, because they've perhaps intentionally, perhaps unintentionally set up a rom-com. And I'm a big believer in the rom-com theory, as you know. So what they've now done, they've sent Olandria off as far as Taylor's going to know, and he's going to be devastated. He's going to be upset. I promise you that, because he's already emotional from Nick going home. That's going to carry over now. Olandria's gone home. He's going to reconnect with somebody. He's going to make a connection. And I assume what's going to happen, they're going to come back in at a point where Sierra and Taylor have both coupled up and are moving forward in that couple. That's when they need to bring them back and give them the choice. You can save them and send your current couple home, or you can stay coupled up and Olandria goes away forever. What that's going to do is the time away is going to make Taylor realize, like, shit, what Olandria and I have really is real. And I need to do everything I can and show her what she's giving me as well. And then his love for her is going to grow. And when he sees her return and he has the opportunity to get back with her, he's going to be like, this is all I've ever needed in my life. They're going to have a big, sensual, sexy, so much sexual tension. You can cut it with a knife, make out, kiss, all that stuff. And all of the stuff that you guys have been saying, they're lacking passion. It's all going to come out in that moment. They're going to be locked down. They're going to close off Talandria for life.
God, you sound like the people after the first season of Game of Thrones that said Ned Stark was going to come back the next season. But
But no, it's different. His head was cut off. Olandria is coming back, as far as we know.
Oh God.
Can
Yeah,
you
I
at
mean that is
least
the
not
one
say
theory.
like it. Thank you.
That is the one. No, well, I'm not getting into the specifics about
Thank
Taylor.
you for agreeing with me.
I think he's going to move on immediately, and he's going to have a better connection. And then Alandria is going to come back, and he's going to be like, well, because Ace is going to be in his ear. Like, dude, you guys didn't really
Ace
have
was
much.
in his ear about Olandria. Weirdly
Just keep
enough,
him in the villa.
saying like, "Hey, that probably is why." But don't
just to
look,
keep. They care.
look.
The boys cared about the boys. That's what we found out the most. They didn't give a shit when all the
Correct.
girls were gone. Like this, bring back my Shelly was fake, unless they're married in real life, which is a possibility. But Nick didn't really care about Sierra, which we knew was going to happen. He was more worried about saving
That
his
was
own
the
ass.
least surprising.
Taylor started talking to other girls, and he had like a different conversation, and it just looked like he was smiling a lot more. They were already talking about it.
That's
boys
production.
on the other side.
That's editors. That's editors.
Ace and Nick talking about how much he's smiling.
Oh yeah, because those guys are the guys I'm going to trust. Ace and Nick.
That's what I'm saying, though. As soon as they find out that Olandria is gone, you don't think Ace is going to say, look, man, you're still here. You have a great connection with Clark. Just harness that. You were smiling.
Here's all I got to say. Here's all I got to say to you and all of the Talandria doubters out there is you guys have been on this shit.
Because it's not a thing.
You guys have been on this shit.
Talandria is not a thing outside of you.
You guys have been on this shit for so long, and every single time that there comes a moment where they could split or go a different direction, they stay together. Okay? Every time push comes to shove, they stay together. So all the evidence is pointing towards me, actually, and you guys are all so blind to Talandria and this beautiful love story that's taking a while to blossom. That's not my fault that you guys don't understand love. Maybe read a book, watch a rom-com or two. I don't know what you need to do to fix your hearts, but you need to do something because Talandria forever. These two are going to get married and they're going to have a long, beautiful marriage and lots of babies and grandkids, and they're going to grow up on the ranch and they're going to ride horses, and then they're going to make a movie about it where they're like, oh my God, have you heard the story of how grandpa and grandma met? Well, one time in Fiji, and then a horse neighs and they gallop off into the sunset, roll credits. Talandria for life. I could do this all night, baby.
God, it is way too late to be doing this.
Clip it.
Yeah, clip it, and so you can see my face during all of that. Jesus. So back into the theories. Yes, the idea that they would come back as bombshells at a later date, and the opportunity, which would just be an ultimatum: stay in your current couple or leave your couple and couple back up with your original, which would then leave the other person vulnerable for elimination, or send them packing immediately. So you would have that immediate thought of fuck. Do I really want
to be send them?
It has to be the immediate. Yeah. You have to have the full ultimatum. The other option is, and this is something else. This is something I was thinking about last night, which I'd be very, very, very much so less interested in this one. But I could see them doing it because they make the wrong move a lot. Flipping them, sending Olandria to the boys' house immediately, and seeing what happens with Olandria there, walking around with the new bombshells, seeing if Taylor's splitting back and forth. That would be messy, and I don't think it would really work that well, because I think Taylor would immediately just go back to Olandria and just leave Clark. So I think they need to let it simmer for a bit. Same with the other side. We've already seen Sierra crying over Nick. If you send Nick over there right now, she's just going to couple up with Nick, and then Elon's just going to be out. So
and we need to see the fallout of that's going to be monumental.
Yeah,
like that's going to be
so
wild.
I want them to tell each house that they're gone.
They have to, and it has to sit for like at least 48 hours of like, oh my God.
I think it has to sit until the end of Casa Amor, because now
I agree, but that's what are we doing? Days? I think it's 2 more days.
I think
they said 2 or 3 days, I believe.
Yeah, I think Monday night will be the first, or when they come back, or something supposedly.
So yeah, the duration of Casa Amor, they're gone. It's because you have to harbor the connection of the new couple. Like you need Clark and Taylor to have a chance to get closer, and vice versa. You need to have Sierra have the chance to get closer to Elan, so that when it comes back, it's a much bigger. The thing is, like, as far as Nick and Sierra go, like as soon as Nick walks back into the house, it doesn't matter if it's a week or a month. Like she's gonna jump back into his arms. And then Talandria is gonna live on, and you're gonna be like, oh my God, he's right every time.
There are more there's more insufferable people out there, not just the Talandria people, which is really just you. I've never seen it anywhere else, but the Nico Landria people, which is They want Nick and Olandria to couple
I've
up,
seen that
which
everywhere. I don't understand that.
I don't. They had great chemistry in the beginning, but I don't really understand it anymore for where we are right now. So they think that they're
Olandria's
going to
too
be
good for
forced.
Nick.
They're going to be forced to go on a date together and see if there's some chemistry, and then they're going to be hanging out at another villa where it's just the two of them. Or there's the crazy theory, which is everybody's coming back because they're taking Ariana's word for herself, or for truth rather, of everybody comes back after Casa Amor, meaning everybody who got voted off is coming
When
back.
I heard
People are
that, that's
nuts.
what I thought initially, and Dev was like, "You're an idiot. Like, that's
Yeah,
not what's going to
no,
happen."
no.
I don't think that's too much. And then it's like a clusterfuck of. I don't think that can happen.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be stunned because they've already opened the door to it. If somebody
I don't
else
think
is
it's
in
gonna
that
happen. I
car
think
coming back, I'm going to assume.
one
I think we're just
person-
getting theoretical now. I think
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that we've got to the end of Casa Amor with no Nick, no Olandria, and then we're going to have a recoupling, and they're going to walk out as the recoupling starts, and it's like, oh yeah, you can also choose to go with
Yeah.
Nick and Olandria, and then.
Yeah.
Like we said, it has to be an ultimatum of if you decide to go back, then your current bombshell couple, she goes home, he goes home, they're
Yeah.
gone from the villa forever.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into some questions, see what the viewers think. Try to figure this one out. First one here from Ashley Webb. Thoughts on Amaya? She drives me crazy with the dumb act. I don't get the public buzz. Well, Ashley, you leave
Oof.
Amaya Papaya alone.
Yeah, you just don't get it then.
She is the best. She's the only like thoroughly entertaining person in the villa. Austin with his dumb act is somewhat entertaining, but it's kind
No,
of
he's not. He drives me nuts, man. He drives me up the
It
wall.
started off as funny, and every once in a while he says something funny, but like I think because the show is kind of like taking a bit of a nosedive in general, it's not as funny anymore.
From Erica Marty, we need Hudas, man, to fall in love with Amaya. Their combo was so cute. That's a statement. But yeah, I actually would like that. I would love that curveball in there because I
think
did
that'd be
think he
great.
handled it well, and I think there's
Yeah.
something there. I think that we will get some more conversations from that because I didn't see any chemistry with Zach and Amaya. That just seemed like he kissed her, and that's what.
Yeah,
that was the deciding factor.
yeah. From Joanna Pickles, shooter, how mad are you about the Casa twist of everybody coming back? I'm livid. I don't fucking understand it. I think it's stupid, and you're depriving us of one of the best moments of Love Island. So I don't know. They better figure it the hell out.
Oh, here's somebody that didn't watch the end from Kitchens Christopher. Can you guys believe that Olandria is gone? Do you think she's going to come back? Well, it's so good. That
I just love it. Like,
did that.
like the credits didn't roll. Like I watch everything until the credits roll. It's not like it was a post-credit scene. It was still there.
It was like literally Nick just walking out. As soon as he walked out, it was like, skirt, get it.
Mhm.
And that was the funniest part because it was clearly scripted a little bit.
Yeah.
Nick, get in. Come on. Like, let's get out of here. From Amanda E. Miller, am I alone in feeling that production tried to control things too much and it's ruining the season? I think that's what happened early on. I think that what you saw this episode was that as well, but it's them trying to correct it.
I think what happened, and we didn't talk about the disclaimer in the middle of the episode, which all the negative comments are going towards production, from what I understand. So are they just doing that for themselves? Maybe. But I don't think production was heavily involved at the beginning of the season. They probably should have been when it came to Huda's crash outs and maybe removing her from the villa. Which there's a new report that Love Island producers told people that they were considering removing her from the villa in the midst of all the Jeremiah fallout. So
I mean, there was grounds
had
for
to.
like safety reasons at that
Yeah.
point. That shit got. You texted me during it because we were both so excited for the crash out, and you texted me, "Is like, what'd you say? This isn't what I wanted. This is uncomfortable."
Yeah, this is making me uncomfy.
Oh, Klatchman from Klatchman. OMG, nothing better happened to Amaya Papaya. You get it.
Hell yeah.
You get it.
Jesus, from RM Lays, can you give a current power ranking? We could have done that at the beginning of the episode and it would have lasted the entire episode. Like we're an hour and 20 minutes in right now. I can give you
Just
my
do a
top one and my
three.
bottom one. Top three.
Okay, do top and bottom.
Top three. I said top one and bottom
Just
one.
do
I'll
top
give you
girl, top boy, bottom girl, bottom boy.
top boy, Pepe. Top girl, Amaya Papaya. Bottom boy, Ace. Bottom girl. There's not really necessarily a bottom girl. I'm gonna throw Shelly down there just so she can be with Ace, though.
Hey, nice.
Shelly's boring.
My top is this. Actually, no, I'm going to switch mine up a little bit. Top boy, I'm going OPP. Top girl, I'm gonna stick with Amaya, but I was gonna say Olandria, but I'll stay. I like that. My bottom boy is Austin, and girl is still Huda. I still think that she should have gone home.
Oh
She's
yeah, Hood
ruining the
is
chemistry of
bottom
the
girl
show.
for me. Yeah, Hood is bottom girl for me for sure.
Bonnie Rachel, these are two really funny ones. Why does nobody have charisma? It's a good point. There's a lot of lackluster performances here, and the other one is top 3 ranking of least sexual energy. There's a lot of them that give off
dudes,
that.
Probably.
Yeah, all the dudes give off.
Taylor, TJ,
Alon and TJ are bottom 3.
Yeah,
both. Maybe that's just me. I don't know, but it's just I can't take them seriously.
Yeah, God.
Let's do
find
2
one
more.
more. 2 more. Okay,
2 more. This is funny. Shooter can answer this, but I assume I know the answer. From Sarah D, this is my first season. Do they always take forever to get to the point? I would imagine yes.
Yes.
Shooter can confirm. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they absolutely do. They always have.
Oh, Holly Tug, just an interim, then you can ask the last one. The internet is saying Nick and Olandria could be a match. I don't see it. Thoughts? I think we agree with you. I don't.
Yeah, we agree with you.
It doesn't match for me at all. Mainly because Olandria's way too good for him.
What happens generally, and this isn't even a shot at Steele, but what people do is they hold on to an idea of a couple in like the first episode, and they just will not let it go. And it's like there's so much evidence that Nick and Olandria just would never work, and they just refuse to look at it because it's like, oh yeah, this is what we wanted weeks ago, so we just want to be proven right at this point. It's like that's not what they're doing. That wouldn't make any sense. What are they going to do? Go on a date and then go back to the villa and be like, hey guys, we're dating now? Like no, they would just go back to their couple.
I agree. And I know like you're saying it's not a shot at me, it kind of is. But I think that there's preconceived notions of like, oh, these two would really hit it off, and then it gets a little bit of, support online. Next thing you know, you have people clamoring for a certain couple. I truly, and I like Nick. I think he's good for the show. He's funny. I don't think that he and Olandria make a lot of sense. And again, I'm going to stick with, I think Nick is not good enough for Olandria.
Mm-hmm. This is funny. Last one here from, because this is our number 1 guy in the group, from Addison Duchesne. Why aren't they showing Pepe? I couldn't even remember who he was coupled up with. Pepe is coupled up, and he just really misses Hannah, it seems. But yeah, he's just such a nice guy. He's with, what the hell's her name? Jacqueline? Jaden?
Yes.
Nope, that's wrong.
No, Jacqueline?
Is it Jacqueline? Grayson? Grayson. Yeah.
I don't know now.
Yeah, but like we didn't really see them at all. So like it's no fault of ours that we couldn't remember her name, but her name is Grayson. I just looked at it.
Okay, thank you.
It was in my notes somewhere. I just couldn't find it. But yeah, so that's one of those situations where Pepe, same with Hannah. Like when Pepe was with Hannah, when Charlie was with Hannah, when things are going smoothly and they're not really doing a whole lot, we don't really see a whole lot of them. Pepe, I feel like he's just kind of like flying kind of close to the ground. I mean, maybe there is more there and we'll see more, but right now there wasn't a whole lot to see, and they just wanted to focus on their big reveal at the end of the night.
Oh, I gotta do one more from Linny 5000. We got another one. Justice for Olandria. They should have kept her instead of Amaya. Watch the end of the episode, Linny. Finish it.
Well, you know what? You guys are listening to this now. There's a new episode tonight. I love Wednesdays because we can actually talk about things. And when our episodes come out, we're not immediately proven wrong. So this is great. So if you're listening to this and it's Thursday and there's still a few hours until Love Island premieres for tonight, go ahead and watch the end of the episode.
Yeah, watch the end of the episode, then get ready for the next one. I will say this, and then we can wrap this bad boy up. if they bring Nick and Olandria back tomorrow or tonight, I guess, I will be livid. I'll be fucking livid. This show will lose all of its luster.
Show
It
us
already
where they
tiptoed.
are. You want to show us that they're in a different villa, hanging out, watching footage?
Well,
Sure, that's great.
And if you could lean on the look at these two, is chemistry popping up between Nick and Olandria while they hang out in some resort waiting to get back? I don't know, but like, do not throw them right back in, for the love of God. There's no reason to.
Do not.
Whew, man, these episodes take a lot out of you.
They're a doozy. Hey, we're almost an hour and a half in, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. Well,
hell yeah, brother.
Let's finish it with this. Bold predictions.
We're still going?
No. Just all I want is right now, based on current couples, who do you have winning? Right now, if somebody had to be the winner, and then we'll say adios.
Sheesh. Even with the Amor couples or like, oh God.
Yep.
I'm gonna say Pepe and Grayson maybe.
I'm either, and this is shocking, but it's just the superhero conversation really stuck with me.
You're gonna go with Austin.
I'm going with Austin and Jaden, or Shelly and Chris.
So for them to win, America would have to vote. So I just don't see America voting for Austin. I mean, Jaden seems really cool. I would love it. I think she grew on me over these episodes, not to mention the fact that she's basically just stood up to Ace and his losers and said, fuck that. I don't have any chemistry with Nick. She did the same thing that Zach did, necessarily, like pretty much the same thing. Like, hey,
yeah, more or less.
I can stay with Austin, who's with Amaya, who, he doesn't really seem to like, or I can go to Nick, who, he's just going to go right back with Sarah when she comes back. So, yeah, it's not bad. I don't know how the voting is going to break down for this one. I think America needs to send the next people home, though.
I agree. We need to right the ship here, but yeah, I was just curious what your gut reaction was on who's the front runner now, but that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
Well, that's our show. Bro's gotta go.